Okay, so in the 1990s and early 2000s, today is July 3rd, 2026. I was trying to produce independent movies. It never happened, but I was just thinking back to those days. This is, before people had smartphones, before the internet was anywhere near as good as it is now. I was just thinking about the strategies I took back in the day trying to produce independent movies and why it did not work out and what I would have done differently, now having 2020 hindsight. So long story short, I was trying to produce independent movies, and what happened was I would learn about other independent filmmakers. So instead of trying to produce my own independent projects, whether it was a 10-minute movie, 30-minute movie, hour-long movie, hour and a half, whatever, instead of just trying to produce whatever I could with the resources I had, instead of that, I ended up hearing about other independent filmmakers and trying to help them raise, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for people that, they had some type of credits, they had some track record, but they weren't deeply integrated into the business. If they were, they probably wouldn't have needed help trying to raise the money in the first place. The mistake that I think that I made, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, and what I would have done differently if I could go back in a time machine right now, instead of trying to raise money from these, mythical, mysterious investors, I would have just utilized the resources that I had and just created a movie I would have just created a movie as with whatever resources I had, and either printed up my own VHS cassette tapes or DVDs or whatever it was at the time, whether it's VHS, DVD, whatever, just printed up some VHS and DVDs and ran around in the streets and sold it for whatever, even just a couple bucks just to break even and get it out there. And, when the internet came along and you could upload it to the internet, whether it was YouTube or whatever, throw it up on YouTube. That's the way I would have done it. If I could go back in time, or if I was able to do it all again, and who knows, maybe one day I'll do it myself, I'll do it in the future like that. But that's what I would have done. Instead of trying to raise hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for, I don't want to insult anyone, but basically, I'll say it about myself, unproven producer, unproven actors, unproven production companies, as far as having successful independent movies and showing that there was some type of blueprint for these investors to make their money back. Instead of trying to raise hundreds of thousands of millions, which never happened, I would have just created movies, just dirt cheap, just literally dirt cheap, just find people that just wanted to make a movie no matter what, who wanted to break into the business, who were willing to, pitch in and create a movie and get credits on IMDb and be a part of a project that actually gets made, even if it just turns into independent DVD that doesn't even go into stores, that just gets sold in, to friends of friends and stuff, or in the street, and gets put up on the internet for free. That's what I would have did. I wouldn't care if I had to create a movie for $5,000, $10,000, a little bit at a time. That's the way I would have done it, instead of trying. And then if you're doing it and you're actually creating projects and people like what they see,